من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما والتفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah that we do bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today inshallah we will be finishing the final part of the conquest of Makkah. We are in the year 8 of the immigration of the Hijrah, which means less than 2 years before the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which means this is year 21 of the start of the revelation of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just a quick reminder, just to keep you on the track with us. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the Treaty of Al-Hudaybiyah, part of the treaty they have what we call alliance. So we have Khuza'a and Banu Bakr. So this is tribes. Some of them they became alliance with Quraysh, and the other group Banu Bakr with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And part of the treaty that we covered a lot of sessions about it, to do such and such, don't do, you are allowed, not allowed. Part of it, if a group of the alliance faced any kind of danger, everyone should be supporting the alliance, which is like the political and militant treaties that we have today. It happened that Banu Bakr attacked Khuza'a. I made a mistake or I mixed? Sorry, Khuza'a attacked Banu Bakr. I switched. They asked, and Quraysh helped them, unfortunately, and they broke all kind of norms and ties and they killed them. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had to defend his alliance and to support them. So it's by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was now the reason to enable and to help and to defend the oppressed group. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was not planning to do so, but they broke out of arrogance. Sometimes this is part of the meaning that we understand in the Quran. وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. They do plan secretly, and Allah does plan secretly, and Allah is the best planners. Sometimes, big powers, they are led by arrogance. So they don't calculate it. Arrogance? Quraysh, for them, they were the supreme power in the Arabic Peninsula. So when they decided to support the oppressor against the oppressed, they did not care about the treaty. But they did not know that this new emerged Muslim power, they are ready to defend themselves and to defend their alliance. Now the arrogance made them blind. So they did not care. They broke all ties. They attacked and they killed. Okay, according to the treaty, you will be punished now. Who are you to punish? Boom, 10,000 soldiers. What? When? How? Who did? Allah is the best of the planners. Some of the saying they say, إِذَا كَانَ الظَّالِمُ يَنَامُ فَعَيْنُ اللَّهِ لَا تَنَامُ. If the oppressor, by default, human beings, his eye will go to sleep, Allah's eye does not go to sleep, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hayy, la ta'khudhu sinatun wala nawm. Allah does not take a nap. Allah does not take a rest. This is part of our faith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has all living, all power, all ability, ultimate of everything. So you sleep, you think, you plan, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. This caused by the will of Allah that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has now the ethical and the legal justification to the conquest of Makkah by the will of Allah, and they started it. Subhanallah. So subhanallah, Allah knows the ghaib. Okay, by the way, even if Muhammad ﷺ attacked them without any valid reason, just for the reason that they kicked them out of his country and they killed hundreds of them, and they took their properties. If they did it, who can blame them? No one. Yet they did not do it, even though they have the full justification. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanallah, pushed those arrogant people, those arrogants, to do what they did. So the conquest of Makkah started. 10,000 soldiers, they came from around. One of the biggest lessons we covered a few weeks ago, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came, when he controlled everything, they were expecting what we know in our terminology now, a genocide or a massacre. They deserve it. 20 years of torturing for Muslims, killing them, taking their money, taking their kind of preventing them from the simplest things of their rights. So, okay, normally all people, they take revenge. Actually, forget the revenge now. Look to the what's so-called civilized countries, the European colonialism. When they went as a colonial power, what they did to the countries that they colonized. What they did? I mean, can we hide the history? I mean, they are not taking revenge. They are occupying other countries. What they did? They killed millions. Look to example, France in Africa, 16 countries, tens of millions. Enslaved and killed. French, British. How many million Africans they took by force to what so-called new discovered, I don't know how they discovered. They discovered the country that contains indigenous of tens of millions, but they discovered it. But they discovered it, okay? It contains about 180 million indigenous people, but they discovered it. Anyway, when they discovered what's so-called America, I mean, according to my readings, you know, the estimates, because it's historical things, and history is written by the conqueror. The estimates, the least number of those Africans who were killed while transferring them from Africa to America, to Britain, because now you have Britain, France, and Newfoundland, okay, which is America. The minimum is around 35 millions. The maximum of my readings who were killed, 240 millions. I'm talking about those who were killed. The average of those who were forced and they stayed alive and they managed to live around 180 millions. I mean, my question, because now the biggest flag that any mainstream media uses when they want just to play the dirty game against Muslims, Islam is connected with violence. True or false? Who is the violent? If Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the representative of Islam, when he had the ultimate power against his enemy, who deserved to be killed, if he did it, no one could have had any kind of blame if he did it, yet he did not do it. When he had the chance to do it, how come Islam is connected with violence? Those who claim this, look what they did. And we are discussing 1400 years ago. Let's go to just 300, 250, 150 years ago, what France and Britain did when they did with just the Africans. I'm not discussing South America with the Spanish now. Go and read. Ask Mr. Google, Jazahullahu khairan. Go ask ChatGPT. Hello, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss or Ms. It depends. I don't know what this kind of I will say. Hello, Mr. ChatGPT. Can you give me an idea about the numbers that the Spanish people they killed in South America? Go and just read. See how very sad. What they did to them. How they burned them alive. How they forced them to change their... It's mind-blowing. Go and ask about what Belgium did in Congo. What France did in 16 African countries. What nice British Europeans did in India. How many thousands and hundreds of millions they killed when they conquered. I mean, the point. So please always, when someone wants to discuss with you about Islamic history, 14, you have to be equipped with numbers, with facts about colonial power, who claim that, oh, you Muslims, blah, blah. Excuse me. If you want to discuss history and knowledge, this is, if you are seeking the, by the way, because of these facts, many people, they decided at least to respect Islam. more than at least they became Muslims themselves when they discovered the truth. Wallahi. And knowledge is power. But okay, by the way, the majority of non-Muslims around us, they don't know the reality. And the majority of them, they are, by the way, very nice people. But they don't know. Now, ignorance in itself is a power against them by the mainstream media or some kind of whatever power. So what's the benefit of studying these things? You will be equipped with the truth. And in case of someone seeking, looking, discussing, debating, whatever, provide him with the truth. You need to know these numbers. So the most important thing that when Muhammad ﷺ, when he gathered those tens of thousands of Meccans with the 10,000 soldiers, he said, مَا تَفْعَلُونَ مَا تَرَوْنَ أَنِّي فَاعِلٌ بِكُمْ. What do you think I will be doing to you? Immediately they say, أَخٌ كَرِيمٌ وَابْنُ أَخٍ كَرِيمٌ. A noble person and the son of a noble person. It's an Arabic rhetorical style of begging mercy. Which means we know nothing that you are the noble from the noble. I mean, we expect nothing than to be generous with us. Then he say, اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. You are free. Nothing happened. He declared that a simple number between 7 to 9 must be killed out of tens of thousands. They did like big crimes. They must be punished. 2 of them, they asked the jiwar of Hani. Do you remember? This is another story. Hani is the sister of Ali radiallahu anhu. She came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, ajartu fulan wa fulan. Now we explain the meaning of the ijara, if you remember, or al-jiwar. Al-jiwar, to seek protection because you are his neighbor or his friend or even stranger. Once you asked al-jiwar, which means please, I need your protection. If you said you are under my protection, it will be an ethical and a social legal right that he must be protected. So 2 of those 7 or 9 who were declared as their blood should be shed because they are in the top criminals, they were protected by a woman. And when she came to Prophet Muhammad, still they are in the middle of the war. At the beginning, he said, Ya Rasulullah, I gave the jiwar for 2. He said, Ajarna man ajarat Hani. Whoever you give the protection, I will give the protection. I need you to compare this with a story we will read now to see the greatest of Islam. You know what's the greatest of Islam? Legislations are just for God Almighty. No one, the few humans, they have the right to interfere. Why I said this? Because of the story we will read now, compared with what Hani did. Okay? We finished last time. Look to the things. Last time we said, the last thing we finished, Prophet ﷺ did the bay'ah. He made a covenant with the woman. Aisha says, Wallahi ma massat yaduhu Rasulullah yada mi'aratin qat. He said he made the covenant with women, but he did not shake hands with them. He did not touch physically any woman. This is the last thing we finished last time. From the incident that happened, people started to come to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and started making the bay'ah. I say, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I give you the covenant to be a Muslim and to be a true Muslim and not to be a hypocrite or to be a liar or to work against you. You know, this is a big, it's like signing a contract. Like we do now. When they ask you to sign a contract, you go, I hereby witness that blah, 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 something, and I know that if I made any kind of false information, I will go to the court and I will consider a liar or whatever. This is exactly used to be done by shaking hands, okay, that time. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when the woman came to shake, he refused to touch their hands with any physical touch. This is one of the evidences that Muslims' tradition in general, we always keen not to have any kind of physical touch between males and females out of respect for the privacy of women. Many people, they misunderstand this. We say it out of what? Respect for the privacy and for the sexuality of women in the Muslim society. Because sometimes they keep saying, you know, Muslims, high look down. No. Look, subhanAllah, to Queen Elizabeth. She passed away now, but when she was a queen, by the British law, do you know that just 8 categories of people, they are allowed to shake hands with the Queen Elizabeth? such as, for example, the head of the parliaments, the head, like we speak about the parliaments, the congress, the head of the royal palace, the just, categories by persons, which means 8 categories with 8 persons, just allowed to shake hands with the queen out of respect. The rest of the people, by law, they have no right to shake hands with the queen out of respect for her majesty and privacy. Subhanallah. No one says, oh, but this is backwardness. Oh, this is against the rights of Queen Elizabeth. No one said it. La ilaha illallah. What's this? Double standard. In other words, hypocrisy. You know hypocrisy? What? Some people, especially the secular Arabs, wow, look how great the British law is out of respect. Wow, we are not allowed to touch the Queen. Wow, okay. A Muslim woman, you are not allowed to touch. A'udhu billah, this is backwardness. We should be shaking hands and double standard. Inferiority complex. You know the inferiority complex? Have you heard this? Yeah? Inferiority complex. When you feel that you are inferior, you look to the conqueror as a superior. Whatever he, she, they do, whatever. If you did something, no. Whatever they did, it's acceptable. Anyway, for us as Muslims, we don't care what the people think. In Islam, Muslim men and women, they should not be physically touching each other. We have exceptions. In the medical field, it's an exception. A female is in need for any kind of medical treatment, it's an exception. Okay? The police person, even if she's wearing the niqab, he wants to check the identity, no problem. Security points, they want to check that this is, no problem. But generally Muslims, they are not, shaking the hands. Actually, for us as Muslims, it's not shaking the hands, it's the physical touch in general. Okay? Any kind. That's why when you talk about mixed parties or something, and the khalwa, we have a hukum in Islam that many people, they don't know. Hurmatul khalwa. Khalwa, it's an Islamic terminology, means any stranger is a terminology in the Islamic fiqh, means any person who is allowed to marry a female, he is a stranger for her in the Islamic terminology. We call ajnabi. Yani, for a woman, a Muslim woman, by default, males on earth, they are divided into 2 categories for her. Any Muslim female, men on earth, for her 2 categories, maharim and ajanib. Maharim from the word mahram. Mahram means the categories of people that it is ultimately prohibited for her to get married from. This category means the father, the son, the brother, the paternal, the grandfather, paternal and maternal, the grandson, paternal and maternal. All of those categories they called maharim. It's completely prohibited to marry. This category of maharim, they can all see each other. They can travel. They can see her without the hijab. They can sit alone. They can. Apart from the maharim, every single adult male on earth is called in Islamic terminology ajnabi. A foreigner or a stranger. A foreigner or stranger in Islamic means he is allowed theoretically to marry. This ajnabi or foreigner, it's prohibited for him to sit with this female alone in a place fully secured without having any access for others to see them. It's called khalwa by default. But my intention has nothing to do with the intention. Once a foreigner female with a foreigner male, if they sit together in a place isolated from any kind of access to be seen by others, they are committing a sin. What? Yes. In Islam, Islam is based on preventive systems before being a curative system. Deen al-Islam, wiqa'i qabla yakuna ilajiya. We don't wait for the disaster to happen, then we start providing solutions for the disaster. No. Because it's not we, it's Allah. Allah designed the system so that it prevents whatever bad, evil things to happen before it happens. That's why al-khalwa, it's to cut the road for any kind of consequences bad, which we can witness around us in the world. What consequences? Abortion. How many millions? Do you have an idea? What is abortion? By the way, abortion happens because of what? Because of sexual relation between men and women. Mainly. Why this happens? Because the free, open relations. This is just one aspect. Just one aspect, which is prohibited in Islam completely. You can't have any relation with any female except through marriage in Islam. Period. That's it. No way. When it was broken by east, west, north, south, one aspect, abortion. What is abortion? What is abortion? Direct intention of murder. What's abortion? A living human being in the womb, by force, it is taken and cut to pieces and thrown to rubbish bin. What's this? Is this killing or not? It's abortion. What's abortion? Because a man and a woman, they decided to enjoy 15 or 10 minutes of intimate relation. Someone else, human being, will be thrown in the rubbish bin and will be killed. Do you have an idea? Millions on a yearly basis. Millions. By the way, I'm talking about the official records, millions. The non-recorded by officials, Allah Alam knows. Just to give you simple, because I memorize it. When I was doing my PhD in the UK, between 1997 and 2003, I remember when I reached there, that it was commonly known there in the UK, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, 97, yes. Let me remember. In 1976, abortion by law was allowed in the UK. 1976, okay? Which means less than, 21 years before I reached the UK. In 21 years, in the UK, official records of abortion cases in the official clinics, 5 million cases. I'm talking about 30 years ago. Just in the UK, official record, 5 millions. Non-official, at least half of them, 7 millions. 7 millions in 20 years in one country. We're not discussing Spain, France, Germany, Canada, America. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what does it mean? This means when I'm speaking with you now, I have started my speech since about 20 minutes. Abortion cases around the world on a yearly basis, it could be tens of not hundreds of millions. I don't know if, while I'm speaking, if anyone can just do some quick research with ChatGPT or Google Case, the latest. At least ask about the United States, because the best statistics on earth are the United States. We can make a quick analogy. Maybe while I'm speaking with you now, 20 minutes, wallahu a'lam, maybe few hundreds or thousands, they've been killed through abortion now. Why I'm discussing abortion now? To tell you how important that when Islam, we don't have the physical touch. It's the idea, not the physical touch. It's a full package of respect the privacy, because Allah is the designer of the system. Okay? Then, look what happened. In that same day, a theft happened. What? A theft. Who did it? A woman. Are you with me? Look, Urwa ibn Zubayr narrated أن امرأة سرقت في عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في غزوة الفتح. At the time of the conquest, a woman made a theft, a Muslim woman. She was a Muslim. And she did what? A theft. She made benefit, the chaos, the people, they are conquering, the people, they feel, afraid of something. She made, yes. 2020.
74,000.
No, in the United States.
And this is Canada.
So, how much in Canada? How many? 74,000 in Canada. طيب, Canada.
The US District of Columbia, 625,000.
600,000 just Colombia.
Yes.
We have 50 states. I mean, it could be something around between 8 to 12 millions in the United States a year, every year. Every year. Can you imagine if we talked about general world, or at least Western world? Maybe on a yearly basis, you'll talk about 35 millions. What? You know what does that mean? If you used 10 nuclear bombs every 6 months, you can't kill this number. Wallahi. Easily, we people kill them. Why? To enjoy our sexual appetite. This is when the human beings have the right of legislation, when they put tashri'ah, which means, okay, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Who decides? The Creator, not me or you. Because if it's up to me, I will go with my lust, I will go with my desire. If it's to you, you do the same. Allah does not play this game. That's why we need Islamic teachings. طب جزاكم الله خير. Let's continue. قال يوم الفتح, a woman قال سرقت في عهد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. A woman committed a theft. ففزع قومها إلى أسامة بن زيد يستشفعونه. They know the Islamic legislations, she will lose her hand. This is had now. It's one of the limits of Allah's decision. It's not a political opinion of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's what? Had. We call it had. Which means no one can interfere in this. She made a theft, she deserves to be punished. Period. Now immediately, Prophet, her people, her tribe, they went immediately to Usama. Who's Usama? Usama ibn Zayd. He used to be who? He used to be called Usama bin Muhammad. Before Islam, he was adopted by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Islam came, Islam refused the اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. شو التبني بالإسلام? Adoption. صح ولا صح? Yes, refused adoption in terms of attributing your name with the people. But Islam did not refuse adoption in terms of taking care and giving the shelter and the money. But you have no right to mislead the people by thinking your non-biological son is your son. Should not be attributed to them, because biologically he's not your son. It should be clear to the people that I adopted this person, I'm taking care of him, but he's not my biological direct son. Or otherwise, in Islam, this is a cheating and misleading in the lineage. Okay, this is the idea. Anyway, so when Islam came, he was commanded by Allah to declare that this is not Usama bin Muhammad, he is Usama bin Zayd. He was one of the closest people to the heart of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He loved him so much. So when this woman committed the thefts in the midst of, the conquest of Mecca, they immediately went to Usama, asked him, begging him, Usama, please try to, speak with Prophet Muhammad. Maybe he will just, close his eye. He will just forgive her. Look what happened now. قال تلون قال عروة, the narrator says, فلما كلمه أسامة, when Usama spoke with Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, تلون وجه رسول الله فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم أتكلمني في حد من حدود الله. His face became colored, which means very red out of anger. He became so angry. When you became angry, your face becomes what? Red, because of the blood. Blood comes flashing. He said, قال فتلون وجه رسول الله. He became very red out of anger. He said, Ya Osama, are you arguing with me with one of the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? قال أسامة استغفر لي يا رسول الله. Usama then said, please Ya Rasulullah, ask forgiveness, because I did a big mistake. فلما كان العشي Next, when the time of the Isha, at the end of the day, at night, few hours later, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam قام خطيبا. He came to the minbar, gathering the people, all of them, and he said, قال فأثنى على الله بما هو أهله. And he praised God Almighty. ثم قال أما بعد فإنما أهلك الناس قبلكم أنهم كانوا إذا سرق فيهم الشريف تركوه وإذا سرق فيهم الضعيف أقاموا عليه الحد. He wanted to fix a big ethical concept has to do with justice. He said, be aware that one of the main reasons why the people before you, they were perished, they were demolished, they were destroyed, that they used to look to the people as classes. If the honored and noble people, they committed a crime, they used to close the eye because he's a noble person. He should be forgiven. But if the weak person from the low class in society committed the crime, everyone becomes abide by the law, and the law should be, applied on this criminal. But what about the president who committed the crime? He did not commit. But no, the honored noble people, they will be forgiven. Then he became very angry. He continued, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, قال والذي نفس محمد بيده. He is swearing by God with a special expression in Arabic. He said, by the one whom my soul is in his hand, which means he's swearing by God because his soul is in God's hand. قال والذي نفس محمد بيده لو أن فاطمة بنت محمد سرقت لقطعت يدها. He said, by Allah, if my daughter, the most beloved to me, Fatima, committed the crime of thefts, I would have cut and chopped her hand. Which means it's the limit of God, it's not mine. So, and he applied the had of Allah on that woman. Aisha says, قال فحسنت. Then after that, she repented, that she became a very good Muslimah. قال وتزوجت, and she was married after that, this woman. قالت عائشة فكانت تأتي بعد ذلك فأرفع حاجتها إلى رسول الله. She used to come to me if she wants something from Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, and we used to help her, which means he did not forgive anyone in the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By this, the society will be protected. Look now, why these two incidents, they were mentioned? Because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, two people, they were declared, so from those declared, they must be killed as top criminals. When Hani used the power of Jiwar, she came, he immediately forgave them. Why? It was his political decision. It was not the decision of Allah. Once it was under his control, immediately he forgave, even though they deserve to be killed. When it became the right of Allah, he became very angry. And he told them, don't ever, never think to change anything in the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But by this we understand, the values of the things. Such as, for example, according to such something. If now, imagine, now we are in a Muslim country. The majority are Muslims, they want to rule by Islam. Okay. They came and said, majority of people on earth, they drink alcohol. And alcohol is one of the attractive elements for tourism. True or false? The majority of tourists who pay money, they do what? They drink. It's a multi-trillion industry, alcohol, around the world. Multi-trillion, not billions, trillions. Which means if you provide in your country alcohol, you will bring what? More. So Muslims, they decided in their parliaments, think about, economy. And so I say, wait. In Islam, we have no right even to put the suggestion to think. But no. It's a had from Allah. It's God's, Allah decided that it's not just drinking alcohol haram, manufacturing alcohol is haram, selling alcohol is haram, buying alcohol haram, transferring on your truck is haram. Dealing as a mediator, tying the money, providing the factory with the apple or with the whatever material to make, you are committing a sin, major sin, completely prohibited. No one has the right even to discuss it. No. Fornication, adultery. Does it bring tourism or not? In reality, forget haram and halal, generally speaking. Yes? No, seriously. What is the main source of economy in Bangkok, Thailand? Do you know? Do you know? Yeah. What about Dubai? I have no idea, but maybe. No, don't go far. Do you know the Red District in Amsterdam, Holland? Have you heard about it? Go and read them. It's not me. Forget me. Go and ask Sheikh Google. What is the Red District? And ask about the billions. And ask about the licensed prostitutes. What are their numbers? I will not tell you. Go and read, please. Red District, Amsterdam, and ask ChatGPT. What is the percentage of economy of Holland through the Red District? Come to me next week. In Islam, do we have the rights even to discuss it? No. If it's up to the people, negotiable. Why not to be like Bangkok? Why not? Why not to be like Hong Kong? Have you, by the way, I visited Hong Kong 5 times. Who visited Hong Kong with you? That's why you will not understand what I'm talking about. What happens at night? What kind of advertisement you see while you are walking in the streets? To see when it's up to the people what they do. What they do. It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. In Islam, that's it. But who will benefit if alcohol is not sold, if prostitution is completely banned and prohibited, if interest is not allowed, people will benefit or will suffer? What is one of the biggest reasons of suffering for the people in the West now? Let's speak about Canadians. One of their biggest elements of pain, what is it? Interest. Interest. Most of the people, they are just living, may God protect me, interest rate goes up immediately, mortgage will happen what? But, my monthly mortgage was 2,500, am I able? Now I'm paying 4,050. Interest. What's this? What's this? You were thinking that in 15 years, you started buying your house at the age of 25, you were planning to finish the price of the house at the age of 40. Now you discover that you might be approaching 55, 60, hardly to finish to pay. Why? Interest. What's interest? A tool of what? Enslaving the people. Who prohibits interest on earth? Just Muslims. If zero interest policy system applied, people will feel happy or miserable? Happy. I'm not talking about Muslims, non-Muslims. Non-Muslims. As I always keep asking, if the policy of having any kind of sexual relation outside marriage is prohibited, women on earth will feel, wives will feel happy or miserable when they know that their husbands will not cheat with them and they will not do these things. Will feel happy or not happy? When men on earth, they know that their biological sons, they are their biological sons, they feel happy or miserable? Seriously, I'm asking. Do you know the program of the United States, the very famous program, You Are Not the Father? You know it? You Are Not the Father. Do you know it? Who knows this program? No, please. Now you have 2 tasks tonight. The first task, go and ask about the Red District, okay? But so as not to think that I'm exaggerating. Second task, just ask Google or ChatGPT. He said, please give me an idea about You Are Not the Father series of American program, okay? Just have an idea, what is it? It's another mind-blowing. All of these disasters that people are facing in Islam, by default, it's what? It's not allowed. So the law will be designed that none of those people will be allowed. Who will benefit? The majority of the people. Definitely some people will suffer. People of power, people of benefit who do not care. Just always you find these people who can, many people, they feel happy when war happens in any country because they sell weapons, for example. They don't care. I'm not discussing of those people, okay? Those who sell alcohol will benefit, but those who drink alcohol, one of the biggest reasons of people losing their lives, drinking under the influence of alcohol. Can anyone with brain tell you that drinking alcohol mostly is beneficial? No. One of the biggest reasons for crime committing, for hitting badly husbands against their wives after they come drunk all over the world. Car accidents, alcohol. And you have tens of possibilities. You are not allowed to be a captain, a pilot if you have a truck. You are not allowed to drive if you have alcohol. This is a scientific evidence that this is a disaster. Yet, for the human beings, the drive, is it the harm or their own benefits? Some of them, they don't care about the harm. Allah has designed the system to take care of us. When we have the power, our interest is our power and money. We don't care how many people will be killed. Because of that, you understand the value of the Islamic teachings. Wallahu alam. So this was one of the most incident, and by this, and I think, the last one. So the last incident, and I think inshallah, and by the way, I'm picking and choosing less than 10% of the incidents because it's huge details. I'm just something. Let me finish with this. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he stated, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حريصا على رفع الحرج عن أمته فهو قد مكث في مكة بعد فتحها 19 يوما يقصر من الصلاة. He stayed in Mecca 19 days. After he conquered Mecca, he stayed 19 days. He was doing Jama' and Qasr. He was doing the Qasr. You know the Qasr? The 4 rak'at used to be 2. The 3 stayed as 3 and the 2 as 2. Which gives an indication that he was what? Traveler. Musafir. And he was giving an idea to the people, one of the analysis why he was doing the Qasr, to let everyone knows that I'm a traveler, I'm not planning to reside here. Which means you will be safe in your country. Even though it's my country, but I will return back to Al-Medina. And to make it easy for the people. It's like the political, let's say, message, an indication to make it easy. After the 19 days, he returned back and he put a representative. And one of the beautiful incidents happened, just to remind you, and we will finish inshallah this. Next time we will start with the Battle of Hunayn, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. One of the beautiful things, when he gave Abu Sufyan this kind of honor, قال من دخل دار أبي سفيان فهو آمن. When he was about to get into Mecca, he declared, anyone who closed his own house on himself, he will be secured. No one will touch him. Anyone came to the Kaaba, just next to the Kaaba, he will be secured. Anyone goes to the house of Abu Sufyan, he will be safe. Which means to give the honor for Abu Sufyan, because he was the leader of Mecca and he has just reverted to Islam. Just accepted Islam now, a new Muslim. So he was the leader, the political leader. So to honor him, he gave him this kind of, pride that anyone goes to his house. When he said this, a group of the Ansar, let's say the helpers of the companions from Medina, they had like an isolated discussion between themselves. They said, it seems that his heart, he returned back to his people. He's giving a special status for his people, do you think he's planning to leave us and to come back to his country, which means just to forsake us? It was just like inner discussion secretly, because they have this kind of fear. You never know, people change, God knows what will happen. But it was secret. Then Prophet Muhammad ﷺ called them. Jibreel, the archangel Gabriel, came to him and he told him what they were saying. Then he called the Ansar. He said, have you said such and such? He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, yes, Allah, we said so. He said, Ya Rasulullah, we said it out of love. We are afraid that he will leave us. He said, Al-mahya mahyakum wal-mamatu mamatukum. He said, I will be living with you and I will die with you. It was one of the biggest messages of honor for the Ansar at that moment. And he kept praying qasr to give like a continuous indication that I'm not residing, I will not stay here. And after 19 days, he left Mecca completely and he returned back to Al-Madinah. And about less than 2 years later, he passed away and he was buried in the room of Aisha radiyallahu anha. Between this incident and that incident, we have the Battle of Hunayn. And we have the Battle of Tabuk. And we have Am al-Wufud. Am al-Wufud, it's the year of the delegations, when the people started coming to declare their Islam. Then the incident of the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. After that, inshallah, we will be, this could take an average maybe 10 sessions from now. I'm planning after that to give like a special phase about the 4 rightly guided caliphs. What happened at the reign of Abu Bakr, 2 years and a half. What happened at the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, 10 years and a half. What happened with Ali and Uthman. And what we call the fitna, this kind of dispute that had been between Sahaba. It's a very beautiful, important piece of knowledge, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. See you tomorrow if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed us to stay alive in the tafsir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.